Casey Perigord and her life partner, Ree Panini, are owners of Perigord Bakery based out of San Francisco, California. Their slogan is Taste in Vivid Color, and they are locally known for having the most delicious, cheery, brightly colored desserts, such as their Pride Purple Peanut Butter Cookies and their Really Rainbow Cakes. The townspeople say they have an eye for color and that the charity they give back makes them a staple in the community. Casey and Ree also hold free baking instructing workshops for kids of all ages to teach them a valuable life skill, cooking, and they fund it all through donation. They also donate 3% of Really Rainbow Cake sales to support local funding for LTBG charity. Today, they have an opportunity of a lifetime at their feet and have been given an all clear from their bank. They are ready to expand their small business globally. The two of them rarely disagree, but they are having trouble seeing eye to eye on which location they should expand their growth. Casey thinks that Germany will be their best fit for market growth, and Ree has high hopes of becoming baking tycoons in Russia. They decide on running through the threats and opportunities as the most amicable way to decide where they are going to go globally. Ree's first argument is for Russia since the ruble's value is so low. Think about it, Casey. We could live like royalty and won't have to take out as large of a loan to get Perigord up and running overseas. Casey explains that with the ruble's value being so low, they won't have much in profit to send back home stateside to put back into their initial investment. According to the currency exchange chart on xe.com, the ruble is only worth about a penny here in San Francisco. The Germans use euro as their currency, and today the euro is almost equivalent with the US petrodollar, except for every euro received, we would be able to send profits back to stateside of like 5 to 6 cents per euro. Let's look at the CIA Factbook database and check into their gross domestic product numbers, Ree said. The data will give us an indication of whether or not the countries are economically sound, they added. If we are able to take a look at Germany, their real GDP per capita in 2019 was 50,900 US dollars, and they had experienced a real GDP growth rate of 0.59%. Their unemployment sits at 4.9%, which is about the same over here in the United States. So it doesn't seem too threatening. That is a small growth rate considered the United States is almost 6 times higher than that. It may be a risky opportunity to take, Ree. You may have won this round, Ree. Looks like Russia has a smaller GDP per capita at 27,200 in 2019. However, their real GDP growth rate was at 1.34% with a lower unemployment rate of 4.6%. Okay, moving on, Casey exclaimed. To be fair, Ree stated, we should also investigate who we wish to be our market. We probably want to keep doing our educational workshops for the children. It'll be a great way to build our customer base and get our name around in a foreign land. If we were to look demographically at Germany and Russia, it could be a swaying factor. Well, going by the numbers presented in the U.S. Census Bureau International Database, Germany has a population of 84.3 million people, in which I just see 84.3 million people wanting to try one of our purple peanut butter cookies. Their population looks to be dense. We're talking 241.8 warm bodies per square kilometer. What's more is the fertility rate is 1.5 births to every woman, which multiplies out to be a bunch of workshop hosting. They have a population growth of negative 0.1%, so that ebb and flow must be symbiotic. I'll look up Russia on my laptop, Ree says. Oh wow, Casey. Russia has 142 million people living there, which is very opportunistic. But there's a catch. They are less dense in population. It looks like everyone is spread out far and wide, with only 8.7 people per square kilometer. We would most likely have to rely on a delivery service to deliver our Pride purple peanut butter cookies around the motherland to earn a serious profit. They went on to add, their growth rate is 1.6 births per woman, but their average growth rate is negative 0.2, which means a little more ebb than flow. This is a bigger decision than I thought, stated Casey. There is so much information to consider. I think we should compare countries' internet technologies. Going off the info provided at Statistica, it looks as if the exclusive Russian internet, RuNet, runs at Superman speeds of 16.05 megabits per second. These search results also led me to an article that tells me that the Russians have a company called Yandex that partners with Grubhub to deliver food by robot. Oh, but wait. Then here's a more recent article saying that due to the war waged on Ukraine, Grubhub has decided to part ways with Yandex. Ree, I don't think that Russia may be a good idea for some time. What does Germany's internet situation look like? Get this, Casey. Restarts. Their internet over in Germany might as well be a dial-up in comparison to Russia's. Nearly only 1.6% of German smartphone owners can use full speeds on their devices promised by the device manufacturers. Their internet speed with DSL connections ranging from 2,000 to 50,000 kilobytes per second are present in about 93% of households in the urban areas. So we may not be able to rely solely on Grubhub starting out if we were to choose Germany. Let's look at market saturation of bakeries in both locations. In this article titled, A Growing Problem for Germans That Live Off Bread Alone, it states that in year 2013, the number of German bakeries decreased 3.6%. Now, 13,171 bakeries bake for 80 million people when 60 years ago, they had at least 55,000 bakeries just in the land that was once considered West Germany. Oh, here it is, opportunity knocks. In the past 7 years, the number of young people training to become bakers dropped by a third to 26,535, and this was published about 2013, 2014. That does sound like a good opportunity. Those kids are going to love our workshops. Well, yeah, I think Germany's the place for us. Because I just had a really big epiphany moment. We're not going to be able to take our Pride purple peanut butter cookie recipe with us to Russia. Why not? Asked Ree. We use a food dye that contains the ingredient red 2G. And red 2G is banned in Russia. We would most likely have to import a lot of the Western ingredients we use that aren't banned, such as the peanut butter. But I sure don't want to end up in a Russian prison in the mountains for using red dye, Casey said. But it looks like American bakeries do have an opportunity in the Russian market. They have, a foot in that Northeastern Europe baking market, and it contributes to like 38% of value sales. I think a good market entry strategy appears to be in whole food bread baking, with more of their population having a taste for more sophisticated baked goods. Russians have had a 10 to 18% drop in the consumption of bread and bakery products bought at larger retail chains. And it's assumed the decrease is due part mostly because bakery guests prefer purchasing from a small business like Perigord than from those retail outlets. We would have to tweak all of our recipes, as they tend to eat healthier over in Russia and disapprove of frivolous use of chemicals in their diet. But wouldn't that change who we are as a bakery? The one in which you taste in vivid color? Casey asked. I'm so glad you've raised that question, Casey. Not only should we exercise caution regarding the political elephant in the room, the war in Russia, but we must also think about the political climate of these places being harmful, since we are at risk for hate crimes and discrimination, being our sexual orientation. We will have to choose a culture to adapt to that will also be willing to adapt to us. According to listverse.com, Russia ranks number 7 out of 10 countries that despise the LGBT community. In June of 2013, Vladimir Putin's administration passed a law banning homosexual propaganda. That's like our whole restaurant's theme. This led to an alarming uptake in assaults on members of the LGBT community. Teens have been ambushed by vigilante mobs and humiliated or threatened with axes, while supporters of gay charities have been blinded or beaten with baseball bats. In October, the country came within a hair's breadth of passing a law that would require local police forces to kidnap children of gay parents. I've already investigated the political climate in Germany and have found that 7.4% of the German population identify with being LGBT, which is a factor commonality, which means the U.S. LGBT community makes up 7.1% of the population, and it's very comparable. Neighboring city Amsterdam to Germany is super liberal and accepting when it comes to welcoming the LGBT community, and they are right outside of Germany, in the Netherlands. They rank number 2 out of 10 countries that have much love for gay people. I think we can both agree it will be safest for us to choose Germany as our next stop for Perigord Bakery. We won't be ostracized for being us or making our really rainbow cakes. Germany is densely populated and is practically begging for us to enter their market. Germany will be the best fit to push our Pride Purple peanut butter cookies and really rainbow cakes, Casey explains. Come to think of it, I do have a Slammin' Kuchen recipe, restated.